Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. And today, we finna react to, oh Lord. I thought we left this shit in 2024, bro. Come on, dog. I thought we left this in 2024 where it should have stayed, bro. We never brought this up again. It came out, we shitted on it, we let it be known that this was garbage, even though I never watched it in its entirety. I watched the first 3 episodes. That was it for me. But look, man, shit is trash, bro. Y'all. I done spoke on this. I done said this is how they treat us. This is how they view us, bro, even though it's not true. And then you got no. Cut the music. Cut the goddamn music. Cut the goddamn music. Cut that shit off. Cut the goddamn music, man. I'm trying to tell y'all something right now.
Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
And then white people had the audacity to say, well, this is how you guys act in real life. Sir, you have just shown your ass. You shown your whole white, pale, pasty mayonnaise ass. You racist son of a bitch. That is not how we act, bro. You don't be in the neighborhoods. You just see what you see on television, on the internet, and you assume that's how everybody acts. This is not how everybody acts, bro. This is egregious, bro. I refuse to watch this. I refuse to give this a chance. I don't care if it's good or not. I refuse to just sit there and let this brain rot and racism right here destroy my mind. And the fact that Steph Curry decided to be a part of this. I'm happy you tore your hamstring, nigga. You deserve it. You deserve. No, from here on out, Steph Curry deserve failure for this bullshit right here. For this bullshit right here. Steph Curry deserves his failures going forward. I hope you don't never reach number 5, nigga. I hope you never reach number 5. I hope KD just catch up to you and just surpass you one day. Just because. You know you was wrong for supporting this bullshit. I stand on that shit, bro. To all the mayonnaise people, y'all can go to hell. To all the goddamn people that actually enjoyed this, y'all can go to hell. This was not it, bro. I watched the first 3 episodes. That was it for me. This is egregious, bro. Then we want to sit up here and talk about some, oh, well, you know, this is how black people act anyway. See, this is why we can't have shit like this on here. Because look at what it does to, look at the image that it does to us. It's bad enough we got to deal. It's bad enough we got to deal with the sexy reds and the goddamn ignorance of niggas on the internet in general. But then you got shit like this out here, and you giving, this is basically giving white people the fuel to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Make fun of us and treat us and have us look a certain way. But when we say something about the Jews, or we say something about them gay people, or we say something about white women, all of a sudden we the bad person. That's crazy, right? We say something about them, we get all the backlash, all the baby still ain't recovered. Dave Chappelle still getting treated like shit for what he said about the gay community or whatever. But as soon as they say something about us, that's fine. That's crazy. It's not fair. And this is a prime example of that bullshit. But y'all want to keep supporting this. I'm not finna support it. I'm just supporting the homie bro with glasses on this one. Shout out to the homie bro with glasses. Make sure I go subscribe to his channel with the likes, views, the comments up, subscribers up over there on his channel and all that good stuff. But me personally, I can't support this, bro. I can't support this, bro. I understand, bro with glasses, you gotta put content out. Brother, why? Brother, why? Leave this shit in 2024 where it belongs, bro. We need to let this shit stay, because if we keep bringing it back up, bad shit, I feel the worst is gonna happen, bro. I feel the worst is gonna happen, bro. Let's leave this shit in 2024, please.
Yo, my toxic niggas, what's good? Look, if you in a danger and exploiting black folks, come holler at your boy. I'm hosting a memorial art show tomorrow at the project. Come buy a painting that my dead brother painted when he wasn't dead, my nigga. Details in the link, yo, hit that now.
Man, what the fuck? Woo! Did this show piss everyone off or what? It's rare that people on the internet can collectively come together and agree to hate something in unity. I mean, you really gotta earn that type of hatred. But here we are.
Hey, Lil Wayne just got that shit. Lil Wayne just got that treatment. I think you need to update that picture, bro. Update that picture of Lil Wayne. Video coming soon, by the way. Video coming soon. Keep a lookout. Video coming soon.
Good Times 2024. From the moment the trailer was released, you could hear the collective groans of the black community when they saw this travesty attaching itself to one of the most beloved black sitcoms of all time, only to have it filled with cliches, tropes, and stereotypes. On top of that, seeing Seth MacFarlane and Steph Curry's name as executive producers.
What?
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Well, to truly understand what happened here, we need to go back to the beginning. In September of 2020, an animated series was announced that would be a fresh take on the 1970s show Good Times. Created by Boondocks and Black Dynamite producer Carl Jones, the show will be produced under OG Good Times producer Norman Lear's Act 3 production company, Seth MacFarlane's Fuzzy Door Productions, Steph Curry's Unanimous Media, and Sony Pictures Television. Red flag off the rip. Not one single frame of animation has been drawn, and we got 3 white figureheads and a mixed brother overseeing a black sitcom. We can't think of anything better at this time in our culture than a reimagining of Good Times animated, said Lear and Act 3's Brent Miller. In a year filled with darkness, this is one bright light we won't soon forget. Thank you, Sony. Thank you, Netflix. Bless us all. Funny he mentioned that. Shortly after Lear signed his first look deal at Sony in 2018, Lear told The Hollywood Reporter he was not about to reimagine Good Times or The Jeffersons, saying instead he would be more inclined toward second looks at some of his less well-known series. So much for that, since he died in 2023. It's a dream come true to be working with legendary talents of Norman Lear, Seth MacFarlane, and Steph Curry, said Jones. We are excited to carry on the original legacy of Good Times, but now animated and a little edgier. Let's just say the struggle has gotten strugglier. It's a thrill to be partnering with Norman Lear and to help bring new life to his groundbreaking show Good Times through the talent and personal stories of Carl Jones and the team at Unanimous, said MacFarlane and Erica Huggins of Fuzzy Door. Animation is the ideal medium with which to reimagine the original show, and through the lens of Carl's sharp, biting humor, audiences will grow to love these classic characters all over again. We are so excited about this project, added Curry and Unanimous Media's Eric Payton. Unanimous is all about authentic partnerships, and this team felt genuine from the beginning. Good Times strives to remind us that with the love of our family, we can overcome any obstacle. We think, now more than ever, the world needs to see a show with hope and positivity.
That was the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
Outside of announcing a cast for the show, news on production was kept on the hush. That is until December of 2023, where it was announced that Carl Jones will be removed as showrunner and replaced by Renata Shepard. What happened? Jones was super excited to be working with these legends of the industry, right? We wouldn't find out until March 28th, 2024. One day after the trailer dropped, Jones posted an official statement on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. For the record, I was involved with the Good Times animated series in the very, very beginning, but due to creative differences, I had to walk away. So I haven't even seen one episode or script of this version of the show. In a nutshell, Carl Jones didn't like what they were doing to his creation, and the Suits and Ties decided to get his ass up out of there. real convenient for them to wait until the last minute to announce Jones's departure when they knew he was already gone, because they realized when people found out Jones was gone, questions were going to be asked. Jones hasn't said much about his time in production for the show, most likely due to an NDA. Brother, you ain't gotta say nothing. The quality of the show speaks for itself.
Yep.
So when you remove the only black guy with the proper vision for a black sitcom, what are you left with?
You left with Cleveland Show
Going through
2.0.
reviews, you will find that a lot of people have no love lost for this so-called reboot, or reimagining as they call it. But for all of you who haven't watched the show or couldn't make it past the first episode, I'm sure you'd like to know, is it as bad as they say? Well, I bit the bullet and watched all 10 episodes. What I say might surprise you, because I'm going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Good Times 2024. Good Times 2024 follows the Evans family. The father character, Reginald Evans, is the grandson of James Evans, John Amos's character. They live in a small apartment complex in the projects of Chicago, Illinois, dealing with poverty, gangs, and the system trying to keep them down. So they say. Outside of some vague references in the first episode, this has nothing to do with the OG Good Times. If I didn't know anything about the backstory, I would have assumed this was just a completely unrelated show that they used an established name to try and sell. And you didn't have to see the original show in full to realize that. I don't know if Carl Jones was the one who pitched this idea, since Norman Lear owns the Good Times intellectual property. Maybe his team reached out to Jones for his experience. Fact of the matter is, Norman Lear wanted an easy paycheck and cashed in on one of his old shows. You know, that thing he wasn't interested in doing. Neither McFarlane or Curry have made statements following the backlash, which is probably for the best. The NAACP asked for a preview of the show, and Netflix flat out refused, only offering generic statements to keep the heat off their backs until the show dropped, and they can move on. What's funny is that most of the hate comes from the fact that it was called Good Times. But that's why they did it, because marketing your project as a reboot or a legacy sequel will draw more attention to the show, for better or for worse. If they called this show anything else, the hate may have been mitigated, but it would still exist. Yes, contrary to popular opinion, there are a few good bits in this show. I mean, I can count them on one hand, and you gotta swim through a pile of shit to get there, but it's there.
No, I'm good.
Starters. It's amazing. J.B. Smoove plays Reggie, Yvette Nicole Brown plays the mother Beverly, Jay Farrell plays the son Junior, Marcy Martin plays the daughter character Gray, and Gerald Slink Johnson plays Dalvin, the talking baby. And they got even more all-stars on top of that. Godfrey, Gary Anthony Williams, Michael McDonald, and poor Cree Summer. They got her voicing like 10 different characters in this bitch, and it becomes comical after a while.
I sent his ass out for dinner a little bit ago and he never came back.
Corner star, you never check on them and muffin top, none of them. No, those do sound good. Where you is right now is the womanhood.
These guys are doing their best to work with the material, and I'm not blaming them. Actors gotta eat. There's also some genuinely funny moments in this show, most of which comes from the line delivery.
55, 60, 63. I'll leave a little something, that way I didn't rob him.
Episode 8 has a comic book styled animation which looks better than the rest of the show. Episode 6 is easily the best in the series. By this point in the show, Beverly has become the building manager, and her efforts to help clean the community up becomes an ongoing story. Here she manages to bring peace between the two local gangs, and for one day things are calm in the hood. Junior discovers a talent for basketball, Gray finally makes some friends, and there's even a fun little chase sequence between Reggie and a cop who wants to boot his taxi. Beverly is threatened by a very outdated Lori Lightfoot parody, but fights back to maintain peace. Ultimately, she can't do it on her own and is outnumbered by Allison Whiteman, aka the man, the system, the patriarchy, whatever the they want to call it. And let me say real quick, they aren't subtle in the slightest with the commentary. But the episode gave you a glimpse of what this show could have been if the staff was given more freedom by the powers that be. For a show called Good Times, there aren't many, and that's the problem. For the reality of people who are stuck in living in impoverished cities, it's not all bad. You got the family cookouts, sleepovers with your cousins, the vibrant days outside playing up and down the block, those late night conversations at that glass table with the round edges. Those are the kind of moments we live for. But I don't expect Seth MacFarlane and Steph Curry to understand that.
And that's what I mean. This is the bullshit that they spread and say this is what we are. And it's not. Is it some shit that we shouldn't be accepting? Absolutely. But that don't mean that because we accept certain bullshit, that doesn't make it okay to say, oh, that's how all of them act. That's not all of us. I wish they would understand that, bro, but they don't care. Like I said, either they don't know, won't show, or don't care about what's going on in the hood. Sad hood movie.
Yeah.
What kills me the most about these characters is how one note they are, which shouldn't surprise you because Seth MacFarlane knows one formula and has stuck with that shit since 1999. You got the idiot father who's so dumb he has no idea what PTSD is.
Because saved my life. That's the name on the vest.
That says PTSD.
You got the mom who flips between passive aggressive and psychotic, the annoying teenage daughter, the doofus son, and the talking baby. And best believe, I'm gonna talk about this little niggalet later on. It's bad enough they're one note, but the characters are also inconsistent. One of the ongoing plot lines, so to speak, is that Reggie has kicked Dalvin out the house because he won't stop drug dealing, which he's painted as the villain for doing so. Outside of Gray sometimes coming to blows with Dalvin, nobody else gives a shit. Beverly, Junior, all the people in the city don't care that Dalvin is a drug dealing baby and thinks Reggie should love his son unconditionally. Now you think Reggie would stick to his morals, right? Well, in true Seth MacFarlane fashion, Reggie and Dalvin work together several times whenever Reggie concocts some harebrained scheme to make money, like faking Junior's death to sell paintings and having Dalvin run promotion for it all. And by the end of the episode, when it all falls apart, they hate each other again. Even worse, in episode 2, mind you, Reggie and Beverly buy Junior focus pills. Pills from this horrible Chief Keef parody who operates out of a trap house. Wow, Reggie, this makes you look incredibly hypocritical. Is that fact ever brought up on the show? Of course not. What about Gray, who's this disjointed mix of Huey Freeman, Haley from American Dad, and sometimes Penny Proud? They prop her up as the smartest character in the show, but it amounts to her using buzzwords like the patriarchy and the system. In the very first episode, Gray goes on a hunger strike. Why exactly? To spread the truth about high fructose corn syrup and all the other processed foods. Where does this lead? Well, she goes back to eating the same processed foods because, in her words,
what about the struggle?
We're black. It'll be here tomorrow.
Okay then. Episode 3, which for me was the worst, is based around her first period. Don't leave. Hear me out, alright? Her and Beverly have this back and forth about womanhood and growing up too fast, the influence of video vixens and black beauty standards. Now, if Gray is as smart and self-aware as the show wants to portray her, then you think she'd be above women like Sexy Red, right? No, she falls for it.
Oh, I look good? Hell yeah!
Then it turns into a fight against the patriarchy for holding down women.
Yes, women would have domain over their bodies, their minds, and their destiny, and shame would be gone forever.
Like, I'm not making this up. This This episode takes the hardest left turn I've ever seen. And at the end of the episode, Gray's journey is revealed to be a dream, and Beverly trusts her daughter to make the right decisions. To celebrate her newfound womanhood, Gray slathers her period blood across the city. Now, why would this girl who's radical and super intelligent do some nasty shit like this? Because it's funny, I guess. And don't get me wrong, I love juvenile humor. But this doesn't line up with Gray's character at all. That's the problem. None of these characters are relatable in the slightest. They all feel derivative of other sitcom characters and don't carry any distinct personalities on their own. In all of the ways this show will age poorly, these celebrity references are the biggest. A joke they thought was so funny, they put it in the trailer, is Dalvin, the drug dealing baby, getting into a street beef with other babies. Da Baby, Lil Baby, and Birdman Baby. Moving on, episode 6, there's a Lori Lightfoot parody. I say parody because it's obviously her, but they call her Mayor Heavy Ankles, only to mention her name in a later episode.
You ain't no Michelle, but you definitely more popular than Lori Lightfoot's Chia Pet typer.
So, are they two different characters? I don't know. This is the closest the show gets to any kind of accurate satire. Except Lori Lightfoot was already out of office at this point. So, the band plays on. We even get a LeVar Ball parody in the year of 2024. LeVar Ball, who hasn't been relevant in so long, I don't even know what he's doing these days. Oh, he lost a foot. That sucks. And I am shocked. Shocked, I tell you. We didn't get a single Trump parody. Not even one.
Bruh. Steph McFarlane, Steph Curry. Come on now. Well, Steph was promoting Kamala. I'll take that back about Steph. He was promoting Kamala. But Steph McFarlane, come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah.
Good Times is one of the ugliest cartoons I have ever seen. I'm no animation snob, but you don't need to be an animator to realize how shitty this looks. I seen reviews saying the animation was good. What the f was y'all watching? Even if this was an artistic choice, the word inconsistent pops up once again. At certain points, it looks tolerable, at least with the main characters. Then there are certain shots where it looks bad. When they have to animate people talking, it's fine. But when they do walking cycles, forget about it. You getting like 6 frames per second.
Oh God! What the?
Some of the characters are so cruelly drawn. Like, this is first or second draft material, not a final product. This might pass for Newgrounds back in like 2006.
Damn.
Or hell, even like a YouTube channel. But that's insulting to a lot of YouTubers who produce quality animation, most times by themselves. Are you telling me that Seth MacFarlane, Steph Curry, and Sony didn't have enough money for animation? Get the f out of here, man. Let's talk about Dalvin, who's easily the worst character in this show. First impressions are everything. In the first episode, this little shit is sniffing baby powder like cocaine. Or it might be real cocaine, who knows? Dalvin is the talking baby. That's it, because people love Stewie Griffin, and he does a bunch of outlandish shit, so why can't it work here? Oh yeah, how'd that work out for Rollo?
Who?
Exactly, the most forgettable character in cartoon history. Now, I don't hate Dalvin because he's a drug dealing baby. I hate Dalvin because he's the complete antithesis of what this show is supposed to be about. Good Times is about the struggle, right? As they constantly remind you. Well, guess who's not struggling? The drug dealing baby. He got it made. He's got his own caretaker, he's the biggest dope man in the city, and he's the show's Deus Ex Machina. Whenever a character needs money or they're stuck in a jam, they come to Dalvin. And it's not like Dalvin is above taking care of his family. That's not the problem. But the narrative of struggling and surviving loses all meaning when every other character has to come to the drug dealer for help. Do y'all see the oxymoron it creates? And it doesn't matter if Dalvin was 5 years old, 30 years old, or 60 years old. The problem would be the same. And the biggest you is how the show ends. Episode 9 and 10 act as a two-part finale. The main crux of it being Junior falling in love with the sister of a local gang leader. So in episode 9, he joins the gang so he can get with her. You also got Gray beefing with Dalvin because Gray helps the junkies get clean. Beverly becomes a puppet in a plan to evict everyone in her building to ultimately gentrify the city. And Reggie becomes a cop overnight with 0 qualifications. So we get to episode 10, which revolves around Junior, who's all swole and thugged out now. It doesn't look like any significant time has passed, but his entire demeanor has changed. This all builds to a riot where Junior has pissed off a lot of people. His gang leader, who he wants to usurp, the rival gang leader, who he's trying to kill, his girlfriend, who hated what he became, Reggie, who wants his son to stop the BS, and Dalvin, who he robs earlier in this episode. Someone fires, the screen goes black, and Junior gets shot, losing a piece of his ear, but besides that, he'll live. And the season ends on a cliffhanger with the question, who shot Junior? I got a better question for you. Who fucking cares? I'll give them brownie points for trying to make a compelling storyline, but this is a story you build up over the course of the season, not 2 episodes. And the nerve to end with a cliffhanger, assuming anyone would stick around long enough to see it, that's what you get, knowing damn well a second season is never coming. Good Times 2024 is a below average adult sitcom and a very bad black TV show. Is it offensive? Many people will say yes.
It is.
I can't speak for nobody else but me. I wasn't offended. I find this show lazy above all else. I've sat through some terrible adult animated shows in my lifetime. It's somewhat of a guilty pleasure for me. Stripperella, Brickleberry, Where My Dog's At, that one Jonah Hill cartoon that no one talks about. For you guys, Good Times may be the worst show you've ever seen. But for me, it's the norm. However, for me to sit here and tell you this show is anything more than pure bullshit, I'd be lying. What separates those shows I mentioned from Good Times is that Good Times was marketed as a black TV show. A black TV show that was overseen by white people who think they know what black entertainment is, and that is where the hatred truly comes from. Sure, the cast is black, the writers may be black, the characters are black, but this is not an authentic African American experience.
Not at all. Not even the slightest.
So it begs the question, who is this show for? Well, I found a review that'll explain it.
We already know who it's for.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
It's for them to laugh at us. That's how I see it. It's their way of laughing at us. They've been doing it to us for years. How many offensive black guy jokes has The Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park? How many offensive black guy jokes have they gotten off over the years, bro? Like I said, bro, it's cool when they make fun of us, but when we start talking about them, you can't say that. That's not funny. Hush your mouth. When Dave Chappelle start talking about the gay people, Dave Chappelle, you need to be canceled. But when somebody says something about us, what y'all complaining about? See how they move the goalposts? I'm just saying, we got to start paying attention to shit. Y'all just got to start paying attention to shit, bro.
Perfectly. Most people are talking about stereotypes, whining about a baby selling drugs. These stereotypes act as symbols, like a kid that tries to grow up and be the master of his house, even with illegal means. Poor people struggling in hard situations, and rich people exploiting them every time. I've never seen the first show, but this show reminded me of good old McFarlane shows. Is it triggering? Maybe for people that have some complex issues. Maybe for Americans, as I'm not one. I don't know. To the ones that found the show racist, the point that the show is trying to make is the socio-economical struggle and the depravity of man in hard times. Not offending you or whatever you felt. It's sad to be offended by an adult animated show. So this guy is a giant dumbass. But you see what I'm talking about, right? This show is for people who are too ignorant to understand the African American rationale and why this may be offensive. Or they're Seth MacFarlane ball lickers who think the Cleveland show is the peak of black entertainment.
Hey yo, Seth, FYI, ain't no niggas watching the Cleveland show.
What they put on your sandwich?
Too much goddamn mayonnaise. You can't like the show, but don't turn your nose up at people and dismiss it as being easily offended. It's much bigger than that, especially when we're at a time where black entertainment has evolved beyond this. Good Times 2024 is taking 1,000 steps backwards. What truly baffles me is Netflix and Sony going through all this trouble to bring in a Carl Jones, to bring in an all-star black voice cast, to hire black writers who've worked on successful and beloved black TV shows, only to handcuff them, placing restrictions on these creatives and telling them what to and what not to do. It's all a masquerade, like the Wizard of Oz. This grand presentation of being a black show, and they're just hoping you don't peek behind the curtain and see what's really going on. The Boondocks was amazing because they let Aaron Magruder make the show he wanted to make. And y'all seen how quickly they canceled that reboot? These networks ain't want to give him that same kind of power. So why am I supposed to believe that Good Times was to be any different under the same regime, no less? It's about time we stop chasing that ghost. There will never be another Boondocks.
Never.
And I am 100% fine with that. And that was the good, the bad, and the ugly of Good Times 2024. Giving it a grade between A for excellent and F for failure. I gotta give it an F, man. There are
hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
And
the fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
But crap over the legacy of the original Good Times.
Kiss my ass. This show sucks.
If you made it to the end of the video, let me know what y'all thought if you have seen the show. I don't know what TV show I'll be covering next, but it should be a good one.
How about we do a good animation show that was actually pretty good and actually had good writing behind it and good story and good character development, which would be the Everybody Hates Chris cartoon. The Everybody Hates Chris cartoon. That's, to me, that's the one that was a great. That was 10 times better than this. That shit's all over this. Like that show was really good. I fuck with Everybody Hates Chris, the animation series. I fuck with that one. I like the character development, everything, bro. Everything we didn't see in the show, they bring it to the light in the animated series as we go along. And you start to see character growth and character development. Things that you weren't really paying attention to in the show until you watched the animation. You'd be like, damn, homie really was like that in the show, huh? It really was like that. But this show right here, bro, like I said, man, They made this. We know who this show was made for, bro. It was. Come on, bro. We know who the show was made for.
What they put on your sandwich?
Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
It's made for the mayonnaise and the tuna and the mayonnaise. We know who it was made for. We ain't gotta say nothing. Oh man, this is what it was made for, bro. They always make these shows. They try to make these shows and they try to laugh at us, laugh at us, and say it's funny because they're black. I'm telling you, bro. It is what it is. I can't like I said, I can't speak for everybody, but I know for damn sure what the agenda is. We gotta look. See, man, it's people that it's two different people in this world. It's people that think with a 3-dimensional perspective, and there's people that think with a 2-dimensional perspective. 2-dimensional perspective, you look at everything from a surface level. You just see what's in front of you and you just go with it. 3-dimensional, you see everything around you. You feel me? You see what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's to the left of you, to the right of you, diagonally. You know what I'm saying? You see from all angles, all areas. And that's probably the worst thing about this show is when you see it from a 3-dimensional perspective, you see exactly what the fuck they trying to do here. And it's not going to work, but they really thought we was going to go with this. Because I think what they were trying to accomplish was they were trying to make Boondocks but for white people. They were trying to make Boondocks but for white people. So that's why it's so edgy and over the top. It's like, what if we made the baby a drug dealer? No. Basically, they just said take elements from Family Guy, take elements from Boondocks, take elements from The Simpsons, and try to tie it all in together to make this one big pile of shit. That's what they did. And we gonna sit up here and let them do that to us? As a black man, I can't let them do that to us. I can't let them get away with this motivated ass shit. This shit is motivated. You just gotta call it for what it is. It's motivated.
That's racist. That's racist. That's racist.
It's motivated, bruh. This shit was motivated from the jump. It was man, look. You already know the mayonnaise and the tuna, they gonna like what they gonna like.
Cracker ass cracker, cracker ass cracker, cracker ass cracker.
The mayonnaise and the tuna gonna always like what they like. They don't care if it offends us or not. As long as it's making them laugh, they don't care. Oh, it's funny. I like this show. They should make another season for it. No. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Let's leave this show in 2014 where it belongs. I said 2014, 2024. Let's leave the show in 2024 where it belongs, and let's never open this Pandora's box again. Let's light this bitch on fire. Put as much gasoline on it as you can. Matter of fact, put a bomb on that motherfucker. Light that bitch on fire and throw it up as high as you can in the air and let that bitch explode into bits and pieces to never be seen from again, bro. Fuck this show. I still stand by what I said last year. I'm 10 toes down on it this year. Nothing has changed for me. And you can sit up here and say, but you only watched 3 episodes. I don't need to watch any further to know what the fuck is going on here. I refuse. I don't care if there are good episodes. If there's not good episodes, there's episodes that's you. I don't care. I saw enough in 3 episodes to know this was some bullshit. But anywho, I'll see you on the next video. Till then, bye.